I realized I had shattered everything the instant our eyes met. The room around me buzzed with cheerful chatter, glasses clinking together, and soft background music. The night was supposed to be a celebration. My company had just sealed its biggest contract of the year, and my boss had insisted on hosting a party in honor of the success. Across the crowded room, I spotted Daniel, my husband, standing with one of my coworkers. He looked so proud, so genuinely happy. Daniel carried love like it was the most natural thing in the world, like it simply radiated from him without effort. And then in a single careless moment, I broke that love. It wasn't intentional. It wasn't planned. But it was still betrayal. When my boss, Robert, leaned in a little too close and whispered something into my ear that made my stomach knot, I didn't react the way I should have. I didn't step back or move his hand away when it skimmed the small of my back. Instead, I laughed. Not because his words amused me, but because I panicked, unsure how else to respond. And then I turned. Daniel was watching. The proud smile he had worn a second before collapsed. His glass caught the light as he held it midair, and for a heartbeat, I thought it might slip from his fingers. His gaze locked on mine, sharp and devastating. In that wordless moment, I felt everything between us shift. The drive home was suffocating. Daniel's hands were fixed tightly on the steering wheel, his jaw clenched, the tendons in his knuckles standing out like bone. I tried to speak, tried to explain, but every word crumbled in my throat. "Daniel, please," I whispered. It wasn't what it looked like. He didn't answer. His eyes never left the dark stretch of road illuminated by the headlights. My voice broke as I begged him to say something, anything. Finally he spoke, calm, steady but colder than ice. "I saw enough, Claire." The days that followed were worse than any nightmare I could have conjured. Daniel didn't explode. He didn't yell or hurl accusations. Instead, he retreated into silence. He started sleeping on the couch. He stopped messaging me during the day. Meals were eaten without a word, the silence between us thick with everything unspoken. Whenever I tried to explain, he only looked at me with that same expression. Quiet devastation, disappointment carved so deeply it was unbearable. I almost wished he would shout, rage, slam doors. Anything would have been easier than the stillness of his pain. I replayed the party endlessly in my mind. Why hadn't I moved away? Why had I laughed, even if it was nervous laughter? Robert had always been overly familiar, arrogant, but I had convinced myself it was harmless. I never thought it would poison my marriage. 2 weeks passed before Daniel finally broke the silence. We were in the kitchen, the faint hum of the fridge filling the void. I was chopping vegetables, my hands shaking from the tension. He set his coffee cup on the counter with a dull sound that startled me. His voice was quiet, but it carried weight. "Do you love him?" The knife nearly slipped from my grasp. "What?" "Daniel, no. It wasn't like that." "Then what was it?" he asked, his tone steady, restrained. "Because every night, I've been lying awake wondering if I've been living a lie. You let him touch you. You let him whisper into your ear, as if I wasn't even there. Like I didn't matter." Tears burned my eyes. My voice cracked. "It was a mistake. Not what you think, I swear." He studied me for a long moment, his silence louder than a scream. Then he shook his head slowly. "Do you know what it felt like? Watching my wife lean into another man? Hearing you laugh at something only the two of you shared? Everyone saw it, Claire. Not just me. Everyone." His words cut me apart. I broke down, burying my face in my hands, sobbing apologies that sounded empty even to me. Because no matter what I said, no matter how much I insisted it wasn't what he thought, the truth remained. I had betrayed his trust. For weeks, I braced myself for the inevitable. I imagined him packing his bags, the echo of the front door closing, the final silence of his absence. I rehearsed the words I would say when he left. But then Daniel surprised me. One night, instead of retreating to the couch, he came into our bedroom. He didn't lie beside me. He didn't touch me. But he sat on the edge of the bed. His voice was quiet, almost broken. "I don't want to lose us. But I can't forget what I saw. And I can't keep pretending everything is fine." My chest ached. "Then tell me what to do," I whispered. "Tell me how to fix this." For the first time since the party, I saw vulnerability in his eyes. Pain, yes, but also the faintest flicker of hope. Earn it back, he said. Show me I matter more than your boss. Show me I'm the one you'll choose every time. From that moment, I knew what I had to do. I resigned from my job, the hardest decision of my life. I had poured years into that career, but Robert's presence lingered like a stain. Daniel never asked me to quit. He never even suggested it. But I knew I couldn't rebuild trust while still tied to the place where it all began. I deleted Robert's number, blocked his emails. For the first time in years, I poured myself completely into my marriage. It wasn't simple. It wasn't quick. Some nights, Daniel couldn't look at me without the memory flashing in his eyes. Some mornings he left the house early, the silence between us still sharp. But then there were small moments, fragile threads of hope. The brush of his hand against mine as I handed him coffee. The softening in his tone when he said goodnight. Little reminders that he was still trying. And so was I. The true turning point came months later, when we were invited to a party for one of Daniel's friends. I almost refused. The thought of crowded rooms, of being watched, terrified me. But Daniel insisted. We can't hide forever, he said. So I went. And this time, I stayed by his side. My hand never left his. When men tried to strike up conversations, I made sure Daniel knew he was my anchor. I laughed only at his jokes. My gaze never wavered from him. As the music slowed, he asked me to dance. He held me close, his breath warm against my ear. And then he whispered, This is what I needed to see. That I'm still the one you choose. Tears stung my eyes as I pressed my face against his shoulder. I'll never stop choosing you, Daniel. Never again. It wasn't full forgiveness. Not yet. But it was the beginning of something new. A bridge slowly being rebuilt, piece by fragile piece. Looking back, I know the scar will always remain. That night will never vanish from his memory or mine. But I also know what Daniel gave me. A chance. He didn't walk away when he had every right to. He didn't bury me beneath anger or punish me with silence. He stayed. He fought. He gave us another chance when I least deserved it. Everyone saw me falter that night. Everyone saw me betray the man I loved. But what they didn't see, what only Daniel and I will ever truly understand, is what came after. His choice to stay. His choice to fight for us. And that is something I will carry with me for the rest of my life.